The point of bringing up Ferency in that tree, in that email, is not about whether or not it was a pagan human sacrifice. Number one, the crime scene, the way we have been told it looked, is a textbook ritualistic crime. We don't know if all the weird shit around the crime scene tells us about the person who committed it or not, because very little effort was put into following up on any of that. Ferency started investigating Elvis Fields because of what his sisters reported to police. Elvis Fields' sister had to go to DHS, and so they were calling their friends in the field offices where they were trying to get someone to interview this woman and take her statements because Unified Command was not interested. So these people came on board separate from Unified Command. So how was Ferency able to make the leap from anything Elvis Fields said unless it had something to do with the crime scene? And how the fuck would Elvis Fields know any of that? How would Ferency go from interviewing Elvis Fields' sister to interviewing Elvis Fields to looking at Patrick Westfall's social media and emailing Liggett a video of this tree and a ceremony and asking about checking Brad Holder's alibi, unless it had something to do with those things? Ferency was emailing Liggett in December of 2018 after interviewing Elvis, Ned, Messer, all these dipshits. The only reason Ferency, Murphy, and Click had anything to do with the Delphi Murders investigation is because they were investigating it through Elvis Fields. They found all those other suspects by investigating Elvis Fields. And for that video of Patrick Westfall to mean anything to Ferency, why would that video mean anything to Ferency unless it had something to do with what Elvis Fields said? That was my point in bringing up that video, because he brought all this up in 2018. So he has all of this information based on the actual suspects. This wasn't, at this point, it was coming from his sisters and the suspect. I'm trying to emphasize that the track they were on, that I'm sure they would have very much liked to see to the end. But unfortunately, the people they passed it on to that were tasked with that just might as well have thrown it in the trash can. We have to account for things. We can't just say, the person I think did it told his wife. Okay, do you understand? I guess the fact that solitary confinement and sleep deprivation, those kind of things, like long-term, we don't just call those interrogation techniques, we call them enhanced interrogation techniques, because they are coercive over time. Why people don't understand that? You cannot take the statements of anyone who has been in solitary for 23 hours a day for 6 months seriously. You have to find something to support those statements before you start taking it seriously. But for those of us who are not interested in just taking the word of a dirty cop or someone who's been in seg, some of us would like to resolve this. I don't know what that tree says. I don't know if it's an F. I don't know if it's an Othala. I don't know what any of it is, because nobody got to finish fucking investigating it. I think someone should have. And I do have questions. I don't think it's crazy to wonder why Greg Ferency was onto this trail back in 2018 when nobody else knew about it, except for the people in the very, very early months. Sparking all these, okay, we got to get some experts in here. The reason for that was because of the people that Greg Ferency ended up investigating without Unified Command's help, cooperation, assistance, or insight. And unless you can tell me how they were able to put those pieces together and why you think Ferency and Click and Murphy would just be making this shit up, the actual people in charge of handling this investigation are giving sworn statements that there is no physical or digital evidence linking the man in custody to the crime or the victims. They turned over geofence data that places more than one person in and around the crime scene between the hours of 12 and 6. Everybody keeps saying, well, where does his location data put him? Well, not near the crime scene. So even if Mr. Allen comes out with records, what, we're going to say that the police records are wrong now? It's that little woozy-eyed emoji. But he placed himself there. He placed himself. I mean, maybe if they say it enough times, it'll all of a sudden make Liggett and Holeman's sworn testimony say the opposite of what it says.